Hello, our names are Kiara DeVries and Sarah Baird, and we'll be talking about the Dubois management fad. To start off, here's a summary. Much of corporate America has joined the NPS bandwagon. NPS stands for Net Promoter Score, which is a measure of customer satisfaction. NPS is calculated by a one-question survey that companies administer themselves, usually followed by a comment box. It was introduced in 2003 in a Harvard Business Review article, where it was called the simplest, most intuitive, and best predictor of consumer behavior. In 2018, it was cited more than 150 times in earnings conference calls by 50 S&P 500 companies. Dozens of public companies are even reporting these scores in security filings. Since then, NPS seems to be taken advantage of. Fred Reichheld, the inventor, was astonished companies are using it to determine bonuses and a performance indicator. He calls it bogus. Different companies have various opinions on the NPS system, which you will see in the next couple of slides. I will discuss the NPS process. NPS questions are typically asked at checkout, in an email, or on an online web pop-up. They are usually asked in this form. On a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend the company's product or service to a friend? The customer is then asked to explain their ratings. Customers are divided into 3 groups. First group are promoters and loyal enthusiasts. These are customers who keep buying and score a 9 or a 10. The second group are passives. Those are customers who are easily wooed by competitors who score a 7 or an 8. The third group are detractors. These are the unhappy customers who score between a 0 and 6. The score is then determined by subtracting the percentage of customers who are detractors from those who are promoters. The passives are ignored. Here's a visual of the scale for NPS. As you can see here, there are the detractors who are particularly satisfied by your product or who are not particularly satisfied by your product or service, the passives who are left out of the NPS calculations, and the promoters who fuel viral growth through word of mouth. And here's an example of an NPS survey. It says, "We appreciate your feedback. Thank you for visiting our website. We are always looking for ways to improve your experience. Please take a moment to tell us about your experience." Then it asks, how likely are you to recommend our website to a friend or colleague? You rate them from 0 to 10. They then ask you to comment on what could we do to improve your experience, and you send your feedback in. Here are some other examples of questions a survey could ask. They could start with, what is the primary reason for your score? Or, what was missing or disappointing in your experience with us? How can we improve your experience? Which features do you value or use the most? What do you like most and least about your company or product? Or what is one thing we could do to make you happier? Here are the advantages to the NPS system. Bain & Company believes it can be used to benchmark rivals, and it's an easy follow-up for our customers. Rob Markey, a Bain partner, makes the statement, "These are not stupid people. They are running large, successful companies." He says this, implying that the NPS system is strong and beneficial, and intelligent individuals use it. Many companies also use it to make decisions and improve products and services. Some examples of these companies are General Electric Company, Intuit Inc., and Schwab. Intuit Inc. uses NPS to explain investments and the expansion of the ad budget on its QuickBooks Online service. They have also mentioned NPS 60 times on earnings calls, proving how dedicated they are to the system. They say it allows them to gather customer insights and to deliver customer benefits. Lastly, Best Buy understands NPS has limitations, but they use many multiple metrics other than NPS to measure customer satisfaction. They have seen a positive correlation between revenue and earnings and NPS improvements. The disadvantages of NPS. People are using it for selfish objectives. They use it to determine bonuses and as a performance indicator. This is a disadvantage because of how easy the system is to manipulate. Managers would also rail the employees if they received bad NPS reviews, as stated in the article. Two 2000 studies showed NPS doesn't correlate with revenue or predict customer behavior better than any other metric. A 2015 study examined 80,000 customers and found the score does not explain the way customers allocate money. Some data scientists say it requires a larger sample size and increases margin of error due to how NPS is calculated as well. People tend to focus on metrics and score rather than follow-up questions, which is more important too. As I said earlier, results can be easily manipulated. Best Buy proves this when employees shared that they can get better results when they explain to the customers how the scoring works and if they tell the customers they will be compensated for it. Some employees only tell the happiest customers about it. It's also hard for investigators to interpret the score because companies don't typically share response rates, margin of error, or whether results are adjusted for cultural bias. How does NPS benefit a company? 1. It's simple. It requires low maintenance and only asks 2 or 3 questions for customers to quickly answer. It can be easily tracked from week to week or even month to month. It also can be broken down however the company wants, based on product, store, or even service rep. Second, it's easy to use. It can be conducted through phone, email, or web-based on whichever receives the most customer responses. Scores are stored and posted quickly as well, so people can see their results. Comments between employees and managers can be shared too. Third, it's a quick follow-up. It shares customer feedback quickly with managers and employees. This allows them to manage and fix the problems customers have with their product and service in a timely fashion. It is also used by frontline managers and senior executives to make decisions on process changes, innovations, and new products. Fourth, it's a growing body of experience. Thousands of companies have started to use Net Promoter Systems. Some of those companies are Rent-A-Car, Apple, and Philips. These companies have created successful systems based on NPS while adapting to their own business practices. Adaptability is the fifth one. It can be easily put to use in various business systems. Apple uses it in retail stores, American Express uses it after high-end service calls, Logitech uses it to gather customer feedback on every product, and Charles Schwab, an American investor and financial executive, employed NPS as it made a turnaround as well.
Success and compensation from using NPS. NPS is believed to be the reason behind revenue and industry success. Delta Airlines uses NPS to locate opportunities and to make investments. Delta Airlines has directly attributed the Net Promoter Score as the source for adding fresh baked cookies to flights, and instead of the traditional 10 seats per row, using 9 seats per row in the Boeing 777. Additionally, NPS has been correlated to revenue and performance. NPS can be used to compare different companies in the same market for overall customer satisfaction. Employees of NPS using companies are also given bonuses when NPS ratings increase. The impact on us as consumers. NPS has an impact on the places we shop, the services we use, and how companies interact with consumers. If you have ever shopped at Best Buy or flown on Delta Airlines, you may have experienced a plan or action used by the company as a result from the Net Promoter Score. As a worker at an establishment that uses the Net Promoter Score, you may be heavily encouraged to provide excellent customer service in order to boost the company's score. Would I like to be compensated from NPS? Personally, I would not. NPS is highly biased and seems to serve no direct benefits to the person providing the services that they are scored on, other than a bonus that is dictated by their employer. Additionally, NPS has many factors that make the interpretation of the score biased. Instead of using the Net Promoter Score to dictate results in revenue and impacts on customer service, it would be better used for each individual employee of a company to identify their strengths and weaknesses when working with consumers. In order for this to happen, an employer must provide its employees with their Net Promoter Score and work with them so they can be the best customer service associates in the company. By doing this, not only will the employer have better turnout for employee satisfaction, it will also have a better Net Promoter Score.
And here's our works cited page. Hopefully after listening to our presentation, you've learned more about NPS, the advantages and disadvantages, and why we would disagree with being compensated for it. Thanks for watching, and leave your comments and questions below.